What? What? Just be quiet.
Hey. All right, okay. So what's up, y'all?
Hey. Hey.
welcome to welcome to our first pseudo live edition of Same Crowd Different Day. I'm trying to get this live on Facebook, but we're doing what we're doing here in the space. I got my friends here today.
Look at
Miss
there.
Quanah May. Quanah, you want to say
What's
something
up?
to the children?
Hi, people. Good afternoon on this beautiful Saturday. Look at Derek. Look at Derek. He's so crazy. Look at him.
All right, Dan, you got anything you need to say to the folks?
You told me to be quiet, so I am being quiet.
I told
Don't
you to
be
be quiet
quiet.
because you're being inappropriate. That's why I
Don't,
told you to be quiet.
I was
don't be
being
quiet.
appropriate. I was warning everybody not to be inappropriate.
He was trying to, and I was not listening.
And they
We are
told me to
very
be
inappropriate.
quiet.
We are very inappropriate in this house, so we're gonna be inappropriate today.
Well, I know
For
the
people
Lord, so
listening,
I'm appropriate.
No editing.
for people who so for people who are just joining, I see Bobby and I think Kim are on here. If y'all can hear us pretty good, just say something in the chat box. We may give y'all time later to ask questions, but this is the first time we're doing this, so this is where we at, folks. There, did she go dark? Okay, there you go. All right,
Yeah, so work
I,
with us through the
I guess
kinks.
right. So I guess we just might as well get started. So where we starting at today, folks? We got plenty of shit to deal with.
Corona.
Big Rona, we're going to start with her.
Coronavirus.
Big Rona putting her foot on our throats.
Neck. Yeah.
Rona got her foot on our
Yeah.
neck. Is
And
she a bad bitch? That's all I
but
can say.
the thing about it, and the problem I continue to have with this is the fact of the lack of leadership, lack of competent leadership that
There
we
you
keep
go.
getting from every level of government. And y'all know, I say this, I ain't no big fan of our mayor, but literally he's really saving our lives right now with a lot of
Trying his
these
best.
restrictions. Trying his best, but y'all want to let folks be great. You're gonna hate, you're gonna put everybody else in danger, and this is where we end up at. So I think what Monday we're gonna open back up as a state.
And that's
I got to go back in the
and
office for sure,
let's be
Monday.
let's be clear. That is the governor's call, not the mayor. So we don't get any confusion there. That the mayor of Birmingham has no control over that. That is
Oh yeah,
KI's
yeah.
decision. Okay, just to be clear.
And to be clear on that, her ass said she's staying at home.
She
Oh,
needs she listen. Listen. Did you all watch the press conference?
I didn't.
Okay.
which one? Hers?
Yesterday.
I didn't
KI.
watch her.
Okay.
I just know
So
she said, yeah, she opened it up and y'all can go out, but she's staying at home.
okay, so she with the businesses that are being open now, she had already last week said retail businesses can be open. And of course, we know that retail businesses have to still abide by their capacity guidelines. They have to,
Right.
most of them are at 50% capacity because of social distancing, because they still have to leave room for however many customers they have to come in and still be 6 feet apart. So that's why they do that. Okay. And that is what it is. I don't disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
This week, as of May 11th, which will be Monday, she has now said that your restaurants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Restaurants.
Restaurants can open.
But they are, I think they're also supposed to do
Yeah, they
capacity
have
guidelines as
to,
well.
tables have to be like 6 feet apart.
Right. Okay.
And
No more than six guests. No more than six guests per party. I remember hearing about that.
yeah, so and same thing for both inside and outside.
Okay. So you also have your barbershops, hair salons. What else?
They have, if the barbershops, hair salons, and nail shops, like they have to in the barbershops and salons, they have to have the chairs a certain distance apart.
Are they bound to the they're also supposed to be working with the capacity guidelines as well.
Yeah. So if you are they're supposed to be only going by appointments. You can't
Right,
sit in there and wait
right,
on your appointment. Like you
right,
have to wait in the car, and then when it's your turn, they tell you to come in, and so it's not just a whole bunch of people sitting in there at the same time. Same
right.
thing with barbershops, beauty shops, and even your nail shops. And like in the nail shops, they want them to leave empty spaces in between the stations and all that kind of stuff. And some of the nail shops have put up like these little plastic little sheets and curtains and things and hung them from the ceiling to might kind of make dividers. So they trying to get it together to get their coins, but
Okay, so as we were speaking prior to us starting to record, I explained that I know y'all probably have had pedicures before, but a lot of men don't go in nail salons. All
mm-hmm.
nail salons are not created equal.
These one
You
do.
have, I know you do, but a lot of men don't. So a lot of men may not know. A lot of people don't necessarily go get their nails done or feet done or whatever. But all nail salons are not created equal. My primary nail salon is in Pelham, and it is just he and his wife. He has 3 nail tables, even though it's just him, and he has 3 pedicure chairs. And I don't have any question. First of all, he's probably the cleanest salon in the state of Alabama. He is obsessive about being clean. He's always been that way. And one of the things that he told me when he first opened, and they do that I have witnessed for myself, is every time you get out of that chair, when you're getting a pedicure, you should take that apart. Because, when you're getting a pedicure, the water filters through to give you little bubbles and do all that jazz. And what he explained was the way that it's supposed to work is that you are supposed to dismantle that chair, the bottom of that thing, and clean it before you get a new client. Now, if you have been anywhere and got your feet done, they don't do that. You know what they do. They get that solution, whatever is in that little bottle that has no name, and they squirt that chair down, the seat down in the little squirt the bowl, and they zhuzh the water in there, and they say, come on, you next, come on. And so that's what they do. So that's step one, because this has been my issue with this whole thing. I think you can get a haircut. You can get your hair done. You can get your nails done safely. First of all, when you go in a nail salon, I know for the nail salons I go to, they wear masks anyway. So you wear a mask, as well. I know you are close to that person with them doing your nails, or, not so much as doing your feet, but I think that is something that can be done safely.
Mm-hmm.
This is my issue with all of it, is that they're not going to do it. And there is no, they're not going to, and there's no one to enforce it. That was a part of one of the questions that was asked in the press conference with Kay Ivey. One of the reporters asked her, he said, there are sheriffs in the state of Alabama who have said they're not going to enforce these limitations that you all have on businesses. They're not going to do it. What you going to do? And she said about 15 words that basically said she not going to do anything. And, that was that. So
ain't nothing she can do but bring in the National Guard.
She's not going to do anything. So
and she's not going to do that.
Yeah, so that has been my issue with it is, to start, people are going to put a good foot forward, because truly people need to feel comfortable when they come in your business. Mm-hmm. And if people go places and they see that people are not adhering, they will probably be apprehensive about having certain services done. But for the most part, people just don't, they want it done. They're just going to get it done, and they're going to take whatever risk is associated with it. And that's just going to be that.
Let me say this. I firmly believe in the autonomy and your right to be a fucking dumbass if you want to be. I mean, I just don't have that. If that's where you want to take this, I say go for it. However, like even when they started opening up in Georgia, the man who had that barbershop, they came in like, the clients have their shit on, but the owner of the barbershop doesn't. Like, he's not using PPE safely. And the problem I have with that is that these are decisions that you get to make. And it's a two-pronged issue that I have, because the first issue that I have is the fact that with the government pretty much forcing people to go ahead and be open, are saying, we're going to force you to be open, but if something happens, we don't want you to be liable, which I don't think that should happen. On the flip side of that, though,
because there was another thing that Kay Ivey did on yesterday. Carry on.
Right.
Sorry.
But the flip side of that is, if your dumb ass knows that you going to this, that, and the other place gonna get you in place, and you go anyway, go for it. I don't need Kay Ivey. I don't need Brian Kemp. I don't need Donald Trump ragged ass. I don't need none of them telling me how to protect myself. I
Yeah.
just don't. I know what I know about this virus. I know what the experts have said about this virus, and I could give less of a rat's ass if Kay Ivey or Donald Trump or anybody else got anything to say about it. I'm like, fuck y'all. Because, Brian Kemp won't let people tour the Georgia House. Kay Ivey old ass that she gonna stay at home, and Donald Trump getting tested every goddamn day. So my whole thing is fuck them. They sitting out here with their dumbass followers. They're sitting out here, got people out here running around raggedy and don't give a fuck. And you got people around here who really listening to these dumbasses. I'm sorry, Derek. Go ahead.
Well, it's just bothers me. You got your end, and I'm like you. I'm listening. I'm paying attention. I have common sense, but at the same time, I know I saw it on my Facebook, and I had a status. I'm deleting folks because it's still folks that think it's like a hoax and it's a game, and
Yeah. Yeah.
like all these people dying, and people I know personally sick and dying, and you saying it's just it ain't that serious and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Shut up talking to me. I don't even
But
want to hear what you got to say. So you got
I
those people that are still putting people like me at risk because you
right.
out doing what you want to do, how you want to do it, and then you
Because
want to
God
come
knows
around
you
me.
can't have God
Look,
knows
I
you can't
got
have a regular enemy.
enough going on for everybody. My kidneys ain't right and it's shut down kidneys. I need the little kidney I got. I ain't got
Right.
time. So
But
again,
that's part of it though, is what you do is not necessarily to protect you. And
mhm.
wearing face masks and, washing your hands and doing all these things, we should be doing those things to protect each other. You should be doing that
Okay.
to protect
And they
other
said
people.
and the people from the CDC basically said wearing the mask doesn't is really protecting other people from you.
Right.
Because the mask that we wear and the mask that your cousins and all them, and like my sister made my mask. Yes, it's got a little knitting in there, but it's not like the little
Not an
end whatever.
N95.
It's not an
Yes.
N95. No.
Yeah,
No.
that's
Not
right.
a,
It's
yeah.
not that. So
It's not a medical grade.
there's still a risk, but at the
Right.
same time, you are protecting other people from you.
Right.
Because hell, I don't know what you got going on, and you don't know
But
what I
then
got
Right.
going on.
it goes back to the fact that people just don't care.
They don't
So
care.
we see this all the time. And I spoke to this on my live the other night, and I said it's gonna come to the point where it's gonna have to happen to your mother. It's gonna have to happen to your child. It is
Mm-hmm.
gonna happen, not to you, because you don't learn anything if you die. It's gonna have to, you're not gonna learn. You might learn if you get sick, because the people that I've
Right.
seen that have gotten sick with this, they've been the sickest they've ever been in their lives.
In their
Boris
life.
Johnson.
So
Boris
you might learn if you
Johnson.
get sick, but death, you're not gonna learn until it happens to somebody close to you. And I cannot for the life of me understand how you can see it happen to someone else and think it cannot happen to you. This just happened to a family here in Alabama not long ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago. 3 members of that family died within like a matter of days.
Yeah.
And
2
we
days or
watched
something.
this being shared on Facebook. These people were on the news, just saying this has happened. Now, when everything first started, this happened to a family in New Jersey. They had about 7 or 8 members of their family get sick, and probably about 4 or 5 of them died. And an
Right.
extended friend of theirs that was an attorney died. And it was all linked back to a meal that they had, a big dinner that they had.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it that we are still, because this is before Kay Ivey ever told you can go anywhere, we are still having birthday parties for our children, for ourselves. We're still having gatherings. We're still doing all of these things as if
Gender reveals.
all of this as if it doesn't apply to you. And I have said I don't want to feel this way, but this is just where I'm at. When it happens to you, if it happens to you, you won't see me like it. You won't see me donate to shit. You won't get a condolence from me. You won't get anything, because we are all in a position at this point where what the risk is. What could happen. So if you just lollygagging and out here doing whatever, and it happens to you, then it just
But
happens to you.
Quanta, let me say this though. The other thing that bothers me about this is the fact that, like, even these stupid Southern racist Republican governors that we have who don't believe in science,
It ain't just
even
Southern, but
though,
go ahead.
well, I mean, but they all racist and they don't fucking believe in science. So let's just say that. But my problem with them is the fact that I think it was Rick DeSantis of Florida was like, well, they
He's so
said that
dumb.
we're going to have these numbers and these numbers, and we didn't reach those numbers because no, you didn't reach those numbers because you kept your dumb ass in the fucking house like you were
Hello?
supposed to, and it flattened your curve. But I cannot wait. When I tell you, I cannot wait to see what 2 weeks from today looks like.
It's not
Because
gonna be cute.
it's
Two,
not going to be
three.
cute.
We'll see it in about, because everybody
A
hasn't
week
went
and a
out.
half.
Everybody has
Right.
not. A lot of people are still staying home, which is good. That's what you need to do. You need to go
Stay your
out,
ass
do
at home.
essential things that you need to do, and you need to take your ass back home. But it'll probably be 3 or 4 weeks, and we'll see the difference. But this was another issue that I had with Kay Ivy's decision to just do a free-for-all. She, out of the businesses that she opened, and I don't disagree with opening businesses, but I just know that there's going to be a negative impact from it because people are just not going to do what they're supposed to do. That's just it.
Dead ass.
She said that basically what she keeps saying is we're depending on people to have personal responsibility and do
They
what they're
want
supposed to
grown
do.
folks to do what grown folks supposed to do.
You have to make them stay in the house at first. They ain't gonna just do what they're supposed to do. But okay, that's fine. The numbers will reflect what they reflect. But to start from May the 1st until the 7th, our numbers increased of reported cases by over 1,400 in 6 days. That happened.
And
A
they ain't want to.
reporter,
You're not even supposed to open this stuff back up until your numbers be down for 14 days.
14 days. None of the states that have reopened have had a 14-day decline. That's
None
just a
of them.
fact. So a reporter asked her, he said, okay, so our numbers have been relatively flat, but as of last week, we had a significant spike, a significant increase in the reported cases. So why now? Like, why, in knowing that, why would you still make this decision? So
They don't fucking care.
she has gone back to, and I'll say this, she has surprised me in as far as she has come, because I expected her to fall to the pressure well before now, and she hadn't. But in her answer that she gave, she's given this typical answer that everybody's giving about the economy and, getting people back to work and blah, blah, blah. She never addressed his issue about the numbers, because hell, we ain't gonna talk about
Ain't
that.
nothing I
Because
can say
basically,
about that.
the conclusion that they have come to is people gonna get sick, people gonna die, but we just gotta go on with the party. That's the decision that they have come to from the top down. That comes from your president on down. But the federal government has put states in these positions to do this to you as citizens, because the federal government has not given any aid to these states. We know our state don't have no damn money. They don't want any money. We can get free money flowing from everywhere. They don't want it. They don't want the shit. Okay, so we know we ain't got it. But hell, if New York doesn't have it, New York is in $1 billion debt just doing this. This is why states are essentially being forced, these governors, to send the people back out. They don't have the infrastructure to get these unemployment payments out to people. They don't have the everything was just rushed out to get the money out to these businesses. All of this was just fuckery all around. Mm-hmm. So they're in a position where, yes, you should, like California. Yes, we know it's going to have an impact on us. We know it's going to be fucked up. Businesses are just never going to open again. Stuff is going to happen, but this is what we have to do. But I don't envy being in the position to make the decision on whether or not to reopen businesses and let people go back to work, because I do get the economic factor. However, This was my issue with this. The decision to reopen businesses has nothing to do with her decision to remove the number of people that can be in gatherings. When all of this went down, we went from whatever number was first, I think it was 50, then they went to 25, and then they went to 10. And it has been 10 since March the 11th. No, it was before that, because it was 10 when my best friend's dad died at the beginning of all of this. It was 10 people. Okay. So that restriction has been lifted. Now, let me just tell you, that restriction was not lifted so you can have a luau in your backyard with your cousins. It was not lifted so y'all could have family dinners on Sundays at your grandma's house. That was not why it was lifted. That restriction was lifted so all of these Bible-thumping Christian people in the state of Alabama can go to church. That's why it was lifted. This is why I have a problem with that. We know, this is not hyperbole. We know that large gatherings of people, this stuff filters back when they do contact tracing and they go back to, hey, where were you? Where were you? Where were you? Oh, we were all at damn church.
Especially in a confined space.
We were all at a dinner where
y'all
there were
gonna
multiple people there.
Y'all gonna kiss each other on the cheek.
You know this. So the state health officer stood up there yesterday and in the press conference, and if you don't believe me, you can go back and watch it. He said out of his mouth that hundreds, that was the word he used, of cases of coronavirus. And at least, don't let me lie to you, but I want to say it was 85 deaths, maybe 45. I'm gonna cut it in half, okay? Hundreds of confirmed cases and about 45 deaths were linked back to a single church event. He stood in that press conference yesterday and said that out of his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
So knowing this, you gonna send the damn folks back to church because they bitching and moaning and complaining about it because they just gotta go sit in the temple. It's not good enough that you can be safe and these pastors want to try to give you the alternative of being able to watch it on TV or whatever, online or whatever the case may be. That's not good enough. You need to go inside the church when we know it's not safe. And then Kay Ivey stood up there and said, we're giving the rabbis and the pastors and the people, we're going to depend on them to, enforce it as they choose. There's nothing to enforce.
Can't depend on these folks.
You took the number off the people. So what they're going to do? And then the state health officer said, well, we've talked to some, and there are some pastors who still are saying that they're going to continue to do their services online. So we're going to take this number away. So now it's open season. And then we're going to put the responsibility of it on the pastors and the rabbis and the people. So when you take your ass out here and in 3 weeks, we see these numbers shooting through the roof, then it's going to be on you and it's not on us, because that's exactly what she did.
Well, at some point, you got to expect adults to be an adult. I know that ain't gonna happen, but at some point you have to expect an adult to be an adult and give them their options and let the cards fall where they may.
This ain't the point.
Pick me.
Right.
You go.
The problem with that is that people want to do what makes them feel good, what makes them happy, without any regard for anyone else. So, like, you can put all the suggestions out there as you want to, but that's why we have rules and that's why we have laws, because people are not going to do what's right for the greater good. They're going to do what's right for themselves. Just like these stupid-ass preachers around here telling people, y'all come on back to church. If your pastor is telling you to go to church or come to church on Sunday, you need to find another damn church, because that is fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I've seen plenty of black people. Oh, so you can go to the malls, but you can't go to the church.
But you can't go to church.
I ain't going to
oh my God, that is the dumbest need
in
the fucking universe. It's so stupid.
I'm not going to nail one of them hoes. I'm not going to nail one of them hoes. I'm not going to your goddamn mall. I'm not going to your fucking church. I'm not doing any of that.
Listen,
I'm not doing any of that.
Listen, the premise of your meme, you can go to work, you can go to the mall, you can go to Walmart, but you can't go to church. Fuck you, shut up. First of all, Walmart is a gabillion feet big, however, whatever. That's
and the
Walmart.
People moving around.
Your little pissy ass church with 15 pews in it is not to be compared to Walmart. Then, if you have a mega church, like we had a dome, all of that, you got all of these seats, it's also going to be filled with a gabillion people. There are not a gabillion people in Walmart. You go also in Walmart, because I have seen this argument too from people who want to start getting back their little money, doing these little services that they perform. Oh, you take a risk when you go anywhere. If you go out to the stores, you go out to here. This is the thing about that. When you go to Walmart, you are going in there for a purpose, to get what you need to get and get the hell out of there, because you got to eat, because you got to live, because you have to have supplies. That's why you're going there. You have to go to work. A lot of people have to go to work. You don't have a choice in going to work. You talking about your livelihood, you got to go to work.
Right.
But you don't have to. I don't care what you say. You ain't got to go to church. I don't care what you say. You don't have to go.
Church ain't in that building in the first place.
We can't explain that to them. You cannot explain that to people.
It's just a habit for them. But what I'm going to say, speaking of Walmart, and y'all doing what the hell y'all want to do.
We gotta go to a break. We're gonna go to a break. We're gonna go to a break. We're gonna go to a break, and then we're gonna come back.
Derek.
All right, so that was our version of a break, right? Since we're doing this live. But listen, thank y'all for listening or watching. They know you a sinner. They know you're sinning. They know what you do. But so look, but what are you doing?
You made me fly. I didn't know we was back.
He always does us like
this.
He always does this.
What?
We always like, are we recording?
Yeah, I be trying to get shit going. I'm sorry. Okay, so look.
Start trying to start shit. That's what you trying to do.
So again, thank y'all for listening to this. I hope y'all really enjoying it. We will put this on our podcast platform and every place else that we do. But again, if you like this, like us, give us a review. Do what you need to do. But now we are going to go into our second phase. So we were just, what is going on with your face, honey?
I'm giving the people a show.
Oh, are you?
They don't need a show. Don't do it. Don't do it. But look, so before we went on our break, we were talking about doing what you want to do in Walmart. And I think Derek was going to do the lead in on there. So what you got, D?
I mean, it just came to my attention when y'all talking about, grown folks doing what they want to do and being in Walmart. Earlier this week in the magical city of Birmingham.
Magical?
The magical city. This lovely young lady decided she wants to go in Walmart without her mask on. And we know that in Birmingham, they have made it the law, basically, that, if you are in a public space, you have to have on a facial covering. And I was mad at y'all initially because y'all was just going in. How they gonna make it mandatory if the people have something on their face? And I'm
still mad about that because, like, what the fuck else you gonna do? You gonna go out here and literally just take a chance on getting a disease because you don't want to buy a fucking mask? Like, why do people have to tell you that?
They say everybody ain't got no money for no mask and all.
That's why they've shown you 36,000 YouTube videos to show you how to make one if you don't have no money.
And they tell you ain't even got to make one. You can put a damn bandana around your face. You can tie your T-shirt around your face. You can do any of these things.
They just said a face covering is what they said.
Covering. Shit. But y'all keep making me cuss with the people, but y'all make me mad, Jesus. And the lady, she wanted to go in Walmart and not have nothing on her face. And so, the officer said, young lady, you can't come in without nothing on your face. Huh?
That he had to come. She was in an altercation already with somebody else.
Oh.
And he had to come because that happened.
Oh, okay. So, I heard, I ain't hear about all that. Go tell me about that beginning part. I don't know.
Quanta gonna give you all of the tea.
I don't know that part.
She was already acting a damn fool. Okay. He didn't approach her initially because of her not wearing the mask.
Okay.
But that led into it too, because she ain't had a mask on. Now, how the initial altercation started, I don't know. Probably did begin because she was not wearing a facial covering, but this still applies because there are still people going into stores and acting a fool when they don't have a mask on, not just here, but in other states as well, when the people even tell them, hey, you have to put some on your face. So carry on because it still applies.
Okay. So Really, she didn't want to leave out and put nothing on her face or whatever, so she started going back and forth with the little officer. He, gave her more than one opportunity to just turn her ass around and, go outside, put some on her face, and come back. So when she continued wanting to cut up, he told her she was going to be under arrest. So at this point, she's cutting up even more, and kind of like resisting and jerking and shaking and all these other kinds of things because she don't want to be arrested. Well, I said she got slammed, but the people have continued to correct me and said the officer boomed her ass to the floor.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is booming?
Because
I'm
that's
tired
what
of millennials. I'm
kids say
tired of
that.
millennials.
Kids say
Tired.
that. But she
Tired.
was with a second person who was on the cell phone talking to somebody, talking to her mom, because she said mama. And she said, he bombed her. He bombed her. Because he was trying to put the handcuffs on her. And he was showing restraint because she was still doing all this twisting and turning for him not to be able to put the handcuffs on her. So when he couldn't get her to get them hands behind her back and get them handcuffs on her, he grabbed her legs and took her to the ground. In which if you in the Walmart, Walmart does not have carpet. They don't have foam. It's a So because he took her legs, her head went first. Now from the angle of the camera, there's no determination that you can make to say, hey, River. There's no determination that you can make to say that her head hit the floor. You cannot say that from the video angle that they showed. It could appear that was the case. However, she got her legs taken and she got swept on down to the floor so he can get the handcuffs on her. And they proceeded to then call her a victim because she was resisting arrest and then she got physically manhandled and taken on down to the ground. And they said that she was a woman and he shouldn't have did all that. And he's always doing the most. Carry on.
She was a woman. She was a woman, but she wasn't acting like a lady. That's why she got her ass thrown down there on that goddamn ground. Because my point is, and I know we have a lot of issues with the police as a community, as black people, as a black man. We have plenty of problems with the police. But bitch, if somebody tells you, look, the rule says you can't come in here without a mask, then you stay your ass at the fucking house. Or put on a goddamn mask. But don't sit around here and call this bitch no hero, no Rosa Parks, no Claudette Colvin, none of that bullshit. When she around here being reckless and not just putting her life at risk, but the lives of other people around her. And Quanta, you brought that up to me a couple of weeks ago when I was like, well, let the bitches go to church and let them die. You're like, no, the problem is they're going to come out of those churches and then they're going to infect innocent people who didn't
go to their grandma's house.
Right. And that's the whole point of all of this. Even what we were saying earlier about wearing the mask. It's not necessarily for your protection.
Right.
You do that to protect other people.
Protect other people from you.
What you do affects others. So you can go in Walmart. You cannot wear your mask. Somebody can sneeze in your direction, and we already know this is not necessarily from you standing face to face and somebody just chewing in your face.
And the particles in the air.
There are other ways, in the air that you can breathe this virus in. So you go in there unprotected, you leave, you feel fine, you never have a symptom in your life. But you go to work the next day and you are asymptomatic with no symptoms, still infected, and then you start passing this on. You go to your mama house to take her the groceries that you picked up from Walmart without your goddamn mask on, and then you're doing the same thing. So that's the point. The point is to protect each other, and we should give a damn. I've seen people bragging about, I don't wear no mask.
I don't wear no mask.
And I said, that's the same thing. That's like bragging like, well, I don't wear no condom. Well, I don't wear no bungee cord when I bungee cord.
But they do brag about not wearing condoms. Like, okay.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's still equal. Like, why are you bragging about this?
Wait a minute. Speaking of condoms.
Oh, yes.
If you don't pay attention to the news, studies have shown that you can go from semen.
Say it again because your audio messed up.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's some corona in that semen. ejaculate and all those things. They got a little Rona in it.
These
Now,
are facts.
they don't
These are
know.
facts.
They don't know if it could be passed on to you that way. They just know that for some people that didn't passed on and they didn't had it, and they did some other tests that it was found in their semen and
They went
also
dead.
in fecal matter. So if you take a little peen, you're eating a little dude, and they ain't washed it good, you can still be exposed that way. That is half shows that big Rona shows up in
So,
that ejaculate.
Derek, they
Huh.
did do a study, and they found, I think they did 30-something people, or however many people, and there were 6. All of these people had been infected with coronavirus. They were positive, and they found that in 6 of those people, they had the virus in their semen. They were obviously men, but they had the virus in their semen. And I did also watch, I was talking about on my live the other night, Stephanie Rule's show last week, and she had a doctor on her show. And he said, she asked him directly, would you go into a public restroom at this time? First of all, ain't nobody had to tell me not to do that. I don't want to do that on a regular day. But right now, where we know the whole problem that we're dealing with is coming from people, body shit coming out your body. You ain't got to tell me. But he immediately, when she asked him that, he said no. He said no. And he said they were studying, everybody's studying all these different things because all of these, everybody's trying to find the answer. Everybody's trying to fix this. People with good sense, they're trying to fix this. So he said they were doing studies, and if you have the virus in your body, it could be in your fecal matter. We already know that you don't, you've already been warned, like, don't keep your toothbrush next to the toilet because, when you flush the toilet, you get the spray that comes up. We all know this. So you think about that on a public level, in a public restroom where people are going to, get whatever liquids and solids out of their bodies.
Because all y'all don't sit down, but y'all stand up and spray.
Wash your hands, or not, in a public restroom because people, they just don't, it is what it is. So his advice was not to do it. Don't go in a public restroom. And I'm saying to you, do not go into a public restroom. Don't take your children. And his example was a person that's just walking into the restroom to wash their hands, because when those toilets flush, and we already know that the virus can be in the air, that you can still breathe this stuff in. So you could just be simply going in there to wash your hands, and you come out of there with a whole situation. Don't go in there. I don't suggest you go into any closed spaces, restaurants to eat, anywhere where you don't have room to be separated. Don't do it. That's just my suggestion.
Let me say this. I want to welcome all the people who are actually listening to this. We were really trying to do something live on Facebook. We got y'all muted right now, but we will have a question to answer after this if y'all got some questions. But again, thank y'all for joining. But anyway, so going back to the bathroom thing, though, Quana, like you say some of the best shit ever. Like when you it's a goddamn shame it took the damn coronavirus for motherfuckers to start washing their hands. Like, why do we wait until 2020 before people start washing their goddamn hands?
And we witnessed it. We see y'all walking out the bathroom without washing your hands, or you take your little pissy fingers. I said this 1,000 times. I posted it 50,000 times because it touches my soul. To see women come out of the bathroom and get their little water, and this is what they do, y'all. And they rinse the tip. You're twinkling your little fingers under the water. Get that dry soap. Y'all know it. They get that foam soap. Let me show y'all what they do. They get that foam soap and they squirt, and then they get their hands dry. Rub this foam soap on your hands, not in between your fingers. Not just rub the foam soap. They turn the water on. They ain't getting no juices in between now. They would just go. They go like this. They go like that. Turn it off and leave. Hell no.
Shut up, Quana.
Hell no. Y'all bathroom habits are suspect.
So let me ask you this. So like I have been anti-buffet for years now.
Oh, they said don't go to them.
Baby, you ain't have to tell me.
Oh, I don't need
tell me. No, I don't like buffets. I don't like potlucks. Nothing pisses me off more at work when they well, let's have a potluck. Bitch, I don't know how many games you got. And I don't know how friendly. Look, right. I don't know what your cooking habits like. I don't know how many cats you fucking got, and I don't know how many of them bitches, how friendly you are with them motherfuckers. Cause some of y'all get really, really friendly with y'all animals. That's fine, but I don't need that bitch around you while you trying to cook me nothing to eat. Like I just don't need
Listen,
that.
Y'all
I'm
so
the
crazy.
person that goes out to eat and asks for to-go silverware. I do it all the time. And I don't care how nobody feel about it. I'm not eating off y'all dirty forks. And people just get the fork, unwrap it, and just start eating. They don't even look at it. If you look at it half the time, it still have food on it. This is why I'm saying,
Rice,
even
I
in
rice,
this
clean mine with
environment where
lemon.
they're reopening
rice.
these restaurants, you are still then depending on the people that washing dishes to wash the silverware appropriately, that they have the stuff in there to clean this stuff. They weren't doing that regularly. This is why I say it takes time to change habits and patterns and stuff like that. So you are really doing a lot if you are trusting these people to clean things, utensils and stuff for you, plates and stuff. If I can't get it to go, baby, if I can't get it in the to-go box with plastic forks and shit to eat with, I don't want it right now. I
You so
don't
serious.
want it.
Going back, let's go back for a second to just to
The lady.
remind you, and there's some new people came in. I know y'all ain't go back. Y'all might not go back and listen
Okay,
again.
yeah.
Corona, you can find it in your semen and your fecal matter. And I know that some of y'all are still hooking up and doing those things. And I know people that are being
Want to hook
safe.
up.
They say they being safe and they get it in with a mask on. So again,
Baby, you
Bitch,
can't
what?
breathe.
What? What?
Baby,
they
that
get it in,
mask is so
they get it in with their
claustrophobic,
mask
honey. You
on.
can't
Hey, if you
What?
get hot enough, you gonna get it. How you can get it?
With the
listen,
mask on?
baby.
Look, let me
Oh,
tell you something. Let me tell you something. You don't need to be the prude bitch who will go out on a hookup during the corona and then say, "Oh, I'm gonna put on a mask." Bitch, don't use no condom, don't use no mask. Just go out there and just do what you need to do at that point in time. Cause you obviously don't give a fuck. You
just do it
obviously
all.
don't give not one fuck.
Maybe that's their version of a condom.
Y'all not listen. We're gonna tell the truth about these masks, especially for those of us that wear glasses. You already know when you exhale, every little step your ass take, them glasses fall on your ass. Every,
They fired the whole fuck up.
listen, so
Bitch,
we're gonna tell the truth.
I almost wrecked my car the other day. I'm like, oh shit, let me take this
No,
damn mask off.
no. So we take the mask, we take it off when we get in the car. Unless you
But
going, like
sometimes you
sometimes if I'm
forget.
going
Sometimes you
like
forget.
I
right
forgot.
like right down the street or right next door, I may not take it off. But that mask that mask ain't no joke. So my heart goes out to the doctors and nurses and sanitary workers and CNAs, whoever is working in a hospital and working these 12-hour shifts and having to keep that mask on the whole day. Because
And
it
the
is
people that
it's
work
not a
at the
game.
cash register.
So I can't imagine, honey, you breathing hard and panting and getting your work in and you got a mask on?
Look, I guess some of us
You're
got to
trying to
do
die.
it. But okay, so I talked
Right.
to one of my coworkers yesterday, and she has a husband, and she is so like freaked out with this corona. Like she not even having sex and getting close to her husband, and they be in the
Girl,
house together. And I was like, what? Like she
girl,
was.
she didn't want to do it anyway. She lied.
Pick me. Hold on,
She
hold on,
lied.
hold on, hold on,
Girl,
hold
gone.
on. Pick me. Wait. Is her husband working? Is her husband working?
No, they at the house together.
She
Both
don't
of them
want to
by
do it anyway.
themselves and they ain't going nowhere. She don't.
Uh-huh.
She don't trust. She don't trust that nigga. Let me tell you why I say that.
She
Because
lying.
I can see me going out and coming back home and Bobby not wanting to have sex with me because I'm out in the street. God only knows who I'm gonna run into. But if you at the house with your husband now, your husband, not the side piece, but the husband, and that motherfucker don't want, and you don't want to have sex with him, bitch, you don't want to have sex
She
with him.
lied.
It
She
was,
lied. She lied. That's
or,
the perfect
or is,
excuse.
right, like, oh, your sex was nasty in the first place. Let me use this corona as my way out. Like,
Girl,
that just
gone on.
doesn't,
Girl, gone
yeah,
on.
no,
Oh
Girl, we,
no.
we
Lord.
ain't taking that bullshit. Them
Yeah,
lies.
that's some bullshit.
She,
Let me ask you this. So both of them are at home, like nobody's going outside the house?
As far as I know, hey, if you I ain't gonna say your name, but if you tune in, Let me know when we're on Monday when we get
Text
in.
him and tell him, girl. But I'm telling you, girl, you can quit telling that lie because we won't believe it.
But hold on. If no one is, I can see if one of them was going out of the house. I can see her going to work every day. Like, well, I don't want to bring that back home to our husband or our family, or vice versa. But both of y'all hoes in the house, no, ma'am.
And you're still in the house with the person, so it's like if you're still sleeping in the same bed, you may as well hump. What's the difference? It ain't nothing else to do. So I can't imagine being in a household with somebody 24/7 with nothing else to do and you're not getting work. Please, that's bull. Girl, go. Okay,
I told them to put on the mask.
Girl, she don't want that beef. She don't want it. Don't you blame it on Rona.
I don't know who this is. I am looking at, but I am really enjoying watching this young lady. What's her name? Oh, she know I'm talking about her too. Hey girl, she laughing. Hey girl. Hey. Okay. She did put his head together.
The moral of the story is just do what the people are asking you to do. Put the damn face covering over your face. Don't go to these people's hospitals. Don't go to these, because I saw somebody on TV last night and he was saying he had a friend that went to a hospital, went to some medical facility. They told him that he had to wear a mask. He didn't have one. They gave him one. He put it on. The guy that came behind him, he said, was bitching and moaning, talking about he's sick of these liberals and he didn't want to wear a mask and his rights and all of this shit. And eventually they had to escort his ass out the building because he wouldn't do it. Yeah. So that's really just unnecessary. Nobody is infringing upon your rights.
They can tell you no shirts, no shoes, no service.
Right. And a business can refuse you service. And if we want to talk about rights being infringed upon, when you cannot go jogging in the state of Georgia or different places, then we can talk about we'll talk about infringing upon your rights on our break, after our break. But someone asking you to put on a mask and protect yourself and others in this particular critical time. This is not normal time. This time, you just need to comply. And that's another word that we'll discuss after this break. But you need to comply and just move on and stop acting like a fucking brat.
And wash your ass.
And your hands.
We'll be back after. We're going to take a small break. We'll be back. Enjoy the music.
Hey, we can't hear that music.
I can hear it.
Oh, well,
anyway, that's because you don't know the Lord. That's because you don't know the Lord. That's why you don't know. That's because you don't know the Lord. That's what that's about.
I know him for myself.
But look, but hold on. So look. So okay. So there. I'm just glad you're not driving.
We recording.
Right
we
after
never
he
stop
said
recording.
Help, Lord. This is just trifling.
Just trifling for no good damn reason. Okay.
This is not our live recording.
This is not
we
the
are not in the heat.
Yeah, this is not the heat. Yeah, we are not in the heat.
Didn't I tell you we were supposed to do this live? I was supposed to tell the people I'm doing this on the protest.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
He did not want to do it.
No, you're not. Anyway, y'all are horrible communicators because we talked about this last week. I wanted to do a test. Y'all said, don't do a test. Let's just do the whole show. I got the text message.
I didn't realize it would be live and other people could. I didn't know the details.
Yeah, see, you didn't give us the full thing.
If you say Facebook Live, that means other people can see it.
Well, you didn't say Facebook Live.
You ain't say live. You said Zoom.
Right, but we do this all the time. Why would I not? Anyway, okay. Let's move on.
Speaking of communications, he expects you to read his mind and know what the hell he's talking about all the time. Okay, Bobby, bless you, child. Bless you.
And don't even say good morning.
He does now.
I do now, bitch. Oh, y'all got me on that. I do say good morning now.
Hello.
Don't do me.
You just come down talking to me, texting me hell. Take a greet me shit.
I'm gonna kick Bobby out the group.
Damn it. Lord, hey, stop. He just started talking to you and texting. What's wrong with you?
What time are we going?
What time? What? Good morning.
I've been to mute y'all.
See, he want you to shut up too now. Stop talking.
Okay.
Okay, so look, okay. All right, so now we're going to move to a little bit more serious aspect. Quanda, did you want to lean in on this?
Go ahead. Thank you, Antonio.
Thank you, Antonio. I can't see you, but thank you.
I can't
Fuck
see
them
you.
hoes. Go ahead, Quanda.
That's why we can't have listeners listening in. Damn, we don't doing it, y'all.
I just met you on Quanda.
In our dear sister state of Georgia, we had an incident occur February 21st, was it?
23rd, I think.
February 23rd. And we are, what is today? May the 9th? Is today May the 9th?
Just heard about it.
Okay. So this incident occurred on February 23rd. The reporting is, because we really don't know exactly what happened. The reporting is that a young man in Georgia, 25 years old, Ahmaud Arbery, was jogging in a neighborhood. And we have recently seen a video of this incident within the last several days, where we see a person in a vehicle with a phone recording. We see Ahmaud jogging, not in a full sprint, a light run. I call it a jog because he just trotting. He ain't just full out running.
In the middle of the street.
In the middle of the street, and on the kind of to the side of the street. Business. And you see ahead of him, not far, but ahead of him, a truck, pickup truck, and there is a man with a weapon standing on the back of that truck. And as he approaches this truck, he goes around to the right of the truck. And as he's jogging up to it, approaching it, they're saying things to him. I cannot make out what they're saying, but they're saying things to him. He jogs on to the right of the truck to go around it, because now they're blocking, because there is a person outside of the vehicle as well. There's somebody in the bed of the truck with a gun. There's somebody outside of the vehicle to the left of the vehicle with a gun. So he runs around it to the right, and that person that was at the front of their truck, this was a father and a son. The daddy was on the back of the truck. The son was in the front of the truck on the street. And he approached Ahmaud, and a physical altercation took place. Now, for myself, I stopped watching when I saw the dust come up from the ground from the first gunshot hitting the ground. Him and Ahmaud, I could see them tussling over the gun. And then somewhere after that, Ahmaud is shot and killed. And the story that they told, these men were white, Ahmaud was black, if you've been under a rock. But the story that the murderers told was that Ahmaud was fit the description of a robbery suspect, that they had been having break-ins in the community, and he fit the description of one. And then there was also a part of that story was that he was looking in the window of a house that was under construction. Now, today I shared a post from the attorney that was talking about the lawyer who was a friend of the murderers, who released this video. He thought that releasing this video was going to help them. But in that article, it says that a person in the neighborhood said that he has home footage from his home security system that shows Ahmaud running through his property or running off of his property or something to that effect. But the gist of it was he fit the description of a suspect from robberies in the community, and they took it upon themselves to approach him and stop him, and God only knows what they intended to do to him had he actually stopped and not fought back. Now, mind you, there's also a 911 recording where somebody is on the phone reporting this incident. So not only did you call 911, which you knew was the right thing to do, but then in the same breath, you are making yourself the law. So that is the backstory to what happened to Ahmaud.
Now the lawyer today on AM Joy, the lawyer for the mama. Now y'all gonna see articles about two lawyers. So the mama got the lawyer Lee Merritt, and then the daddy, that's the daddy got me corrupt. Y'all know how I feel about being crump. But anyway, so he said the way that they finally got the video, like they knew the video was they had the video a long time, but the way that the video got released was the father and son were shopping for attorneys. And as they were shopping for the attorneys, you know, you got to show them, you know, kind of what the little case
The
is.
evidence.
Yes, and so one of those attorneys that they were shopping to handle their case, that attorney released the video. So that's the only reason the video got released when it got released, because the authorities or whatever, they weren't planning on releasing it all. So that's how it got leaked. And to go back to the 911 call, even, you know, I don't know if some of you have heard the 911 call, but the operator is asking the person that's on the phone, like, you know, what is he doing? And all they can say is running.
They said he was hauling ass. And in that video, you can clearly see he was not hauling ass at all.
Oh yeah, no.
So let me just say a couple things about this. I have, y'all know I got so many issues with white people and their foolishness on a daily fucking basis. Like, it's just amazing to me the number of bullshit, the amount of bullshit that they get away with. The thing that bothers me about this is we are still trying to justify a black man walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're still trying to say, well, he was walking down the street, but, you know, we saw him running. Or he passed through somebody's yard. That sounds like some old bullshit, like when Mr. Farley's neighborhood, some bullshit. When get them bad kids out of my grass, but you can't just go around and shoot fucking people. Like, it's amazing. It just really bothers me that white people still think that this shit is okay. Mm-hmm. You know, and this is a point of transparency for me. I remember when they first started doing those. When they first started bringing to light all the young black men who had been shot, you know, and a lot of them were not complying with what the directions were. And me, like, if they just did what they said, you wouldn't have to worry about it. I know that I've been stopped by the police, and I know I've gotten out. A Bound Brook police officer stopped me swerving down 280 and did not give me a ticket because of the way I interacted with him.
Yeah.
And I was trying to put my privilege on these younger guys who have not had my life experiences. And so you saying, well, all you gotta do is comply, you won't get shot, and then Philando Castile happened. That baby did everything that he was supposed to do, yet these evil motherfuckers still thought that they could do what they wanted to do. And my problem is this: we have to stop trying to have to justify fucking breathing. Like, every time, you know, when a white boy does some shit, everybody talks about, well, we can't put him in jail because this will ruin his future. When a black boy does something, well, you know, he did this last week, and week before last he did this. Fuck them.
It's just the first crime of many.
Yeah, because they already started talking about him taking a gun to school one time, and I think they said something about one time he shoplifted or something.
Yeah, and something with his mental health too. Like, he may have had to see a counselor or something at one point, and they were talking about that.
I need to see a counselor.
I need one.
My position is this: I don't give a damn. Okay, if Ahmaud was running down the street with that whole goddamn house on his back, I don't care if that's what he was doing. The two people who blocked his path, with armed people who blocked his path, had absolutely no right to do what they did. No. And then after that, to say that they did it in self-defense, because that's what they said. It's the same damn thing that George Zimmerman said about Trayvon Martin. And there are laws in Georgia where you can do a citizen's arrest, but you have to be watching this person in the commission of a felony, which none of them can prove that he did. If he was peeking in the window of a house that's under construction, let me just tell you,
that's not a felony.
I saw a house that I wanted to buy, and I went to that house and took people back to it 3 different goddamn times. And I went from window to damn wall, back porch up on it like it was my goddamn property. And if anybody had walked up on it that did not own the property, just somebody in the neighborhood, they would not have had a right to shoot me because I was looking in a fucking window. So that's bullshit on his face. And those have been proven to be lies because they have gone back and tracked and saw that there were no robbery reported to the police.
No, there was only one.
Oh, wow.
There was only one.
Since January of 2019.
It was one. And it was the man that did him. It was him that called it. It wasn't nobody else than him.
So this rash of robberies that they claim were happening are lies. They have had to shop around to find attorneys because the dad is a retired police officer. Let us not forget that, because that is how this shit basically has ended up where it was, because
and
they protect their own.
They was friends with the prosecutors and all the other kind of stuff. So, you know,
they protect their own. But like I said, I don't care if Ahmaud had that whole damn house strapped around his waist and was jogging down the street with it. If you have called the police, that's where your activity as a citizen stops. Now, if you wanted to follow him as far as he could be followed and trail him and tell the police where he was going, that's fine, because that's some shit I'll do. But you mean to tell me that I would get out of my car and approach somebody with the gun, and when he fights back for his life, you fucking coward, you have the damn you have the gall to say you were defending yourself. That was self-defense.
Let me tell you how cowardly.
Any law on any book anywhere that says you can approach a person and initiate a physical altercation and claim self-defense needs to be stricken from anywhere, because you should never be able to initiate a physical confrontation and be able to claim that you're a victim after you get your ass kicked.
It's like when people get out of box on my Facebook page and then get mad while I cuss them out. Bitch, you came over here asking for this smoke and now you want to be the fucking victim. Get the fuck out of my face.
He's fighting back. You have a whole damn rifle. What are you expecting to do?
It was two of them. It was two of them motherfuckers. Y'all sorry ass cocksucking bitches could not get out there and at least handle the man with your hands. Both you hoes had guns. And you said you felt threatened. What the fuck? What the holy fuck?
How do you think he felt? With 2 random ass men that I don't know following me or blocking me, because clearly he knows this damn car is behind him. So he's trying to avoid this confrontation. He's running around the truck as you see him trying to avoid it from whatever it is they're doing. He didn't charge this person. You got in his path and he's trying to protect himself to keep from fucking getting shot.
I got a question. Who the motherfucker who took the fucking video? That bitch needs to be dropped out on charges as well.
So they're looking at arresting him as well.
Yeah, that's what the lawyer was. The mayor was saying today is, if any other crime, if you knew some shit was going on and you was back there recording, I mean, you're a part of it. He's a part of the whole thing. So
because people have been asking. People have been asking if he just happened to be driving behind these people and he was recording. He wasn't. He was not. That didn't happen. He knew what the situation was. And for me, you did, and part of it, they talked about the police report. Some excerpts from the police report was that they went home and got guns. So for me, you have to have seen him.
Yeah, I think this was their second, and this interaction was the second interaction. I think.
So you've seen him jogging in his neighborhood. This is not his first time jogging in his neighborhood. This is premeditated as far as I'm concerned.
This was premeditated.
They charged them. They charged them with felony. They charged the son with felony murder and charged the dad with accomplice to felony murder. But you have seen him jogging in this neighborhood. You made a conscious decision that you were going to approach him when you saw him running in this neighborhood again. You did not say, let me call the police because I know this person and he's gonna be back out here jogging tomorrow. So let me go and call them so they can sit out here. Because let me.
And why if I'm robbing over there, why am I jog over there every day?
With nothing. He could have came in his damn car if he's trying to take something. What he gonna do? Put it in his pocket? What is he gonna take? Well, he didn't have nothing, just himself. Yeah. So the whole damn idea makes no sense, first of all. But I'm the type of person, I'll call the police in a second. You understand? I will call the police if you blink. If I feel like some shit is wrong, I will call the cops. And I'm very goddamn descriptive when I call them. I tell them exactly what's happening. I'm gonna wait for them to get there so I can tell them what I saw and when and who did it. Let me just tell you. I was at the park. I was at the park doing my normal walk. This girl was walking ahead of me at the park, and I saw her face like she looked distraught, and I'm looking like, what the fuck, you know, because I got my earbuds in and I'm walking. I'm like, what's wrong with you? And I asked her what was wrong, and she was okay. She said she looked over in the bushes, and there was a man in the bushes jacking off and watching us while we were walking. And I'm turning around like, what? Like, what? You know, like it's kids out here. People
that happened to me once.
So she
You probably stop and watch.
Okay. So she was, I mean, she was physically affected. Like it scared the hell out of her because she looked and saw him. And she said he had something covering his face, but she could see his eyes, and he was in the bushes jacking off. She was about to leave. She was about to get out of there. I said, oh, no, ma'am. Let me call the police. God, call the police. I'm in Hewlett, so I know they're going to be there pronto. So I called the cops, and the police officers came, and they said, I got the girl, you know, she was very shaken up by it. And so she explained what she saw. I told them what happened. And they said that this had happened before, that they felt like they knew who it was because there was somebody that lived in the houses behind the park or something like that. And he had mental stuff going on, just all kind of stuff. But that's what the fuck you do. Now, I don't know this man. I could have pulled out a gun and just started shooting in the bushes. No. Let the police do their job, because police will do their job most of the time if you let them.
Now,
they already were familiar with this situation, so they could take it in their hands and, you know, take it on to the next step. And then I knew if I go back out here, I need to be aware, you know, paying attention, and I need to let as many people know that this happened, because you don't know what a person might do. It could be one person, he might want to grab them. But there are ways that you can contact the police and you can let them know when something is going on. You don't have to become a fucking vigilante. But this is some white men bullshit, because this is the same shit that happened to Trayvon. This is the same thing that's happened to many. That's why we got Karens on the phone calling the damn police on people barbecuing in the fucking park. You got a white woman approaching a black young man in an apartment complex because she don't fucking recognize him, following him floors and walking behind him and trying to see where he's going. This is some white people bullshit, because they automatically feel like they are entitled to know where the fuck you going, who you are, where you from, and all of this. Let me just be clear. White people, random ass white men and women. Black people do not owe you an explanation for why they exist.
For shit.
We don't owe you an explanation for why we are where we are. If you got a problem with some shit, get the authorities involved. But if we are walking, running, just fucking breathing, getting coffee, you know, in the damn coffee shop, going to the restroom, whatever the case may be, we do those things. We are real people just like you, and we don't owe you a fucking explanation for why we're doing it.
Yeah, there a couple of comments, you know, they made up some groups and all that kind of stuff with the little right wings or whatever. And one of the comments was, why did he get, I mean, he would have just complied and listened and stopped and, you know, whatever. I don't know. I ain't got
authority.
Yeah,
they have a group. It has almost 10,000 followers. A group for these two men. They said, and that's on the blurb for the group. It says they were God-fearing men, and that if he would have just complied with random white men, not officers, not police, just random ass white men. I don't even know what.
But going on, and like, Tony, this gonna make you extra mad. So in North Carolina,
I can't get much madder than now. It's gonna be hard.
So get ready. So in North Carolina, there's this young man in his house playing his video game at about 8 o'clock at night. Playing his video games. His mama was in the other room sleep. It might have been a little bit later, but mama in the room sleep. He hears a banging at the door. He goes to the door, and there is a mob of white folks at his door, including a police officer with his uniform on. And they are asking if he is whatever the boy name is. And they have been told that it was some girl that was at the house. And they, and so they were just going on asking, the whole mob standing out there, somebody got a gun, and they asking him, that ain't you. Who are you? Who are you? And where's the girl? Where's the girl? Well, the mama hear this, and she comes out, and she's, telling them, well, she don't live here, and you got to go. So she starts to close the door, and the officer man puts his foot in the door and said, we not going nowhere till we come in here and make sure this girl ain't in there.
Did.
And yes. And so, I mean, everybody was just scared, nervous, whatever. And I don't remember that in the article they said she let them in the house.
No, they never went in.
Yeah, they
because
never actually.
She knew not to let them in.
Oh yeah, because she was like, I didn't know what the hell was going on. And if she hadn't have been at home or she hadn't have woken up, she don't know what they would have done to her son. And again, her son will graduate. He was a senior this year. They had a sign in the front yard with his name on it with 2020 on there because he was graduating this year. And so nobody has been arrested. The officer,
Wait, they called the police.
Mm-hmm.
The police came to the house, and the people came back. They weren't shamed.
Oh yeah, no.
The person that they were looking for, the mom said she knew the person. Like they were asking, was he him? And he's like, no. She's like, no, he don't live here. But she said it was one of their neighbors. It was a neighbor that they were looking for. They were at the wrong house. So when the police got there, this group of people came out there, stood out there. They didn't run. They didn't leave. So the police, she said, took no names of anybody that was in this mob.
Of course not.
Didn't do anything. And so basically, her thing was, what could have happened to my child if I had not been at home? If nobody had been here, they could have just bust up in here and done anything. But
and even the officer, the officer that put his foot in my door and said, I need to come in. That nothing that like she's not getting any answers from anybody.
So nothing has been done thus far.
He didn't have nothing.
No, they were the police. They had deputized themselves.
A mob.
They were the mob.
Let me tell you something. White people need to slow the fuck down because they're doing too goddamn much. I'm sorry, but nobody owes you a fucking explanation for any goddamn thing that we do because you do not rule us. We are not slaves. We are free people in this fucked up ass country that we live in. And I'm really tired of the bullshit. Like, this makes absolute sense. And as parents with young boys, like I live in fear every day because I know that my son sometimes has problems with perception. Like somebody may be giving my a sign to go away. He may think they're coming closer because he doesn't read faces and emotions like everybody else does. That could put that child in a world of danger with the wrong fucking white folks. Mm-hmm. Let me just say this though. Let's just suppose for a moment that Ahmaud had stolen something. You still don't have a fucking right to shoot people in the motherfucking streets, you dumb bitches. Like that's what gets me. You do not have that goddamn right. You're doing too goddamn much. It's way too much, and it's ridiculous. And like even with some of the other guys who have been killed, we have a right to due process in this fucking country. It didn't say due process unless you're black. It says fucking due process. And and I think in a lot of ways, I know white people are complicit in this, but I think in a lot of ways, we get the people who like the dumbasses with those memes, like, well, you can go to the club, but you ain't go to the church. That type of thinking, that type of fucked up thinking kind of seeps in and corrodes and corrupts everything else about the way that we think about ourselves. Because like I saw somebody who I kind of respect was like, y'all real concerned about this white folks shooting this black man, but we still killing each other in the streets. Fuck that. Because we are not the only people who kill people who look like us. 80% of murders happen with people who are the same race. So this whole narrative about black on black crime is a racist trope used to make us feel bad. You ever heard somebody say white on white crime? No. We'll never hear white on white crime.
Because most murders are murders of proximity. People kill people they know. People kill people they're close to. However, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But my point is, Why give us a particular name for it and not everybody else? It's
Because
only to
that was
make us
something
look
that was
good.
given to us by the media, and I know I have used it. We all have, used it, and it doesn't, to me, negate the fact that we need to fucking stop killing each other. We do, but these are
I'm
two
not saying
separate, right? But these are two separate things. It's. I say it all the time. Is that we love the apple and orange, because this goddamn stupid ass girl in this Walmart, people were making a martyr out of. Like, she was right, like. Because
And
it
she
was
needs
something
to
that
been boomed.
because it was something that the police did. If it had been somebody else, it never would have made traction the way that it did. But it's because of the police. Everything the goddamn police do ain't wrong. Now let's just do that. And you cannot compare all things, all situations, all incidents, because every incident has its own situation. Just like you were saying, I have been in that same situation where I have had incidents with the police, and I talk to them like I talk to you. I'm just going to respect the person just off the rip. But you will have people that say, I see white people acting a fool with the police and they don't get shot to death. That is a fact. However, it does not mean that when you get pulled off by the police, you should try to do what the fuck the white people do. It's just like you still need to do what you need to do. It doesn't mean that you might get out, just like you said. Philando Castile is the perfect goddamn example. And that's a video that traumatized me. Philando Castile and Alton Sterling, I watched those. I would never watch another person die, because we're literally watching them die on camera, not just get shot, not just like how the news is cutting off this video of Ahmaud. So you're not seeing that full video. I know it's out there, but you're not seeing it on TV. But yes, you can be in a situation where you are complying and you still get killed. That's our reality. But there's a lot that goes into these incidents, and a lot, goes into what everybody needs to do on their respective parts. And it just don't mean it's a free for all and you just try to do what other people do to see what happens. Like that, we already know what the fuck might happen. So, we need to, I said this in my live, and I sincerely believe it. There is, when we start having these conversations, there is a part of accountability and ownership that we don't like to take. That's just a fact. There is a whole nother narrative that starts twisting and turning, when you're talking about shit with black people, where it's always we got to go back to the systemic things, the this and that, which all of these things can be valid. All of them can be true. But at a point, there are things where we need to take responsibility and accountability for our actions, behavior, and all of that. And we can have a conversation around everything. But we got to stop apple and orange, because we do it all the time. In this particular incident, this is a cut and dry, to me, incident of somebody being mowed down, murdered down in the street for doing nothing wrong. Yeah. But you can't compare this to 27 other different things that happen, not necessarily, because everything got its own situation. So
I think my issue, and you're absolutely right. I totally agree with you. But I think my issue comes in when people try to do those apples and oranges comparison. Yes, black people need to stop killing each other, but goddamn it, we can't. You can't compare that to white people killing us, and that's what bothers me. A lot of these hotep ass Negroes, like y'all worried about these white people. I'm worried about everybody killing us. I really am. Like I'm concerned about our asses being dead. That's my concern. Who does it and the reasons? Those can be sorted out.
Right.
It's irrelevant. At the end of the day, I'm concerned that we are being killed.
They might stop killing you.
No.
I don't know about that.
No.
I don't know about that.
No, not at all.
I don't know about that. However,
wishful thinking. I like to think positively.
Yes, you like to see all the pictures on the book. However, I do agree, and I do agree with the sentiment that we need to place value on ourselves, and we don't. Even down to wearing these masks. It is that basic, at a basic level. It is about caring for ourselves, and we can get to the meat and bones of why we don't, and systemically why we, how we've been trained to think about it. Like I say this all the time when we talk about killing each other and all of that. You would not kill a person that you value, not intentionally. You would not kill a person that you respect, that you love. You would not. So there is some work that we need to do as a people on self, And that, again, to me, that goes even down to wearing these masks. There has to be some accountability. There has to be some responsibility. And we just got to care about us. Like this is something that we know is disproportionately killing Black people. We know that. We know this. And yet, a Black man can stand up in the city of Birmingham and tell you, these are the steps that I'm going to suggest to you to try to protect us, to try to do what I can to save us, because this is as much as I can do. And God damn it, if that ain't enough, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna tell you why, and this, that, and the third, and I'm gonna still thug it out, and I'm gonna still. And then in the end, we'll be having these conversations about. In the end, we'll start having conversations about what white people didn't do to save us, because that's the type of stupid shit we do, and it pisses me off because I've already heard the conversations happening. How we so sad because we in the Black communities and this and that. And I'm like, I'm looking at the Black communities too. And in a lot of Black communities, we're not doing what the fuck we need to do. And we know it. And a lot of it too is because half of us don't even believe this is some real shit. Half of us think this is we are right in line with the right wing racist groups.
It's them 5G poles.
We telling the same damn, we talking the same language. Shit, you may as well go out there to the fucking rally with the damn, you may as well go out there with them.
Yeah.
So these things are multifaceted. These problems have a lot of different, moving parts. And we do have so many places where we need to do better, and we need to take ownership of ourselves. And like I said, ain't nobody coming to save us. We need to do the best we can as Black people to try to help ourselves.
We have to save ourselves, and there's just so many layers to this, and we could go on and on. But listen, before
y'all making me depressed.
I'm sorry.
Okay, look, I'm gonna see if anybody who's listening has any questions.
Hey, Chris.
What I want you to do, if you want to say something, just say me in the chat, and then I'll unmute you, and then we'll let you have your chance. So
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
This ain't no funeral, honey.
Don't be giving no shout out.
Anybody got any questions they want to ask? Now's the time. I'm not going to give y'all a minute to type. If I play the break music, we'll go on the break while y'all get y'all typing together. Here we go.
I got an attitude because when Crystal came on, she took Ty off my little screen.
I can see Crystal now.
I know, I can see Ty. That's my friend.
I think Crystal is frozen.
We didn't thank her for her service, and she didn't start shouting on the phone.
Oh, there she goes. Hi, Crystal.
We know Crystal is a nurse. Anybody else in here do anything?
Oh, girl. Hey, Crystal. Thank you, Crystal.
Tanneal's a nurse, I think.
I can't see Tanneal.
Tanneal,
we got a video on.
Oh, I see Tanneal. Tanneal at the hospital now, girl.
Yeah.
Baby,
is she at work? Tony brought her in.
Hey, girl. Thank you. Be safe. We love you.
That's my cousin.
That's my cousin.
She was my cousin first.
I love everybody. I'm everybody's cousin.
Everybody cousin. That's my cousin, but she my cousin too.
So we're gonna ask just a question. Do our nurses wave your hand if you have anything you want to say to the people, just from your personal standpoint? Crystal ain't got nothing to say.
Let me step out the room. Hold on.
Out the room. Hold on.
Tanneal's gonna step out the room. Hold on, give her a second.
We're gonna let Tanneal say something.
Yeah, and I think we do need to have a platform, a voice for our local nurses and medical professionals, people in the hospitals, whatever work it is that you're doing. Because I think a lot of this, to me, the reason that it's so disrespectful when people are talking about this is not real and it's not that bad and it's this, that, and the third, 99.9% of the people saying that are not the people that are out here taking these risks. And whether you answer the phone at the desk or you going in a patient's room or you working on a COVID floor or whatever you're doing in a hospital or a nursing home or any medical facility around these parts, these people can speak to the, what's happening on a local level. and how they feel, because I talk to people personally who are dealing with it, but I feel like, they need a platform to be able to speak for themselves and maybe make it real for somebody that just think you out here making this shit up.
I think Tennille ready. Tennille, you ready?
Come on, Tennille, what you got?
I'm ready. I just want to tell y'all to be careful, take all precautions necessary, because these doctors are slapping people on vents just for GP. That's how they get their raises during this time. You don't even have to have extra things going on. Doctor himself told us personally that some of the doctors are just doing it just for the pay, and people don't have to actually be on these vents. Some of these people losing their lives just because.
It's funny that you said that, Tennille, because I've heard a couple of reports about people being put on ventilators that didn't need to be put on ventilators. And just even from my personal experience, I don't know if anybody that's ever went through a cancer diagnosis, but when I went through my cancer diagnosis and treatment, I didn't have a port. I took my chemo orally, and my oncologist told me, he said, well, Tony, he said, a lot of doctors put ports in, one, because it's easy, but they also make more money when they do ports, because every time they open the port, it's considered a surgery.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it's more infectious. You get
and it's also more infectious.
Yeah. So that's something that's definitely something I think people need to be aware of, just in regular times and in regular medical procedures that you're having, and ask a lot of questions and look at your bills when they come. You may only owe $4.90, but look at that bill and see what they billed you for, because they do these things. We don't want to perpetuate the narrative that
they ripping you off.
That this whole COVID thing is a hoax and people don't have to be. We don't want to perpetuate that narrative, but we do want to just make people aware, because a lot of time, like when these people are going into these hospitals, you got to just listen to what the people telling you, because you can't go with your family member. If they're telling you a person is at whatever level, you can't speak to them. You don't know. You're just having to make a decision over the phone. So, there may be questions that you need to ask. Is this medically necessary? If this is this or whatever. So, that's good information.
I have a question. I have a question. So, you're a nurse. So, I know that, when people have kidney issues, once your kidney functions get below a certain level, they'll put you on dialysis. Is there a level of aspiration that people have to get down to before they put them on the vent? That is recommended, like if your breathing gets down to maybe your oxygen level gets down to say maybe 50%, at what point do they make the decision? What point should they make the decision to put you on the ventilator?
They do ABGs, which is a lab work. You have to be mostly acidotic to where your body can't breathe on its own. So we naturally breathe from our nose. So once you stop breathing from your nose and your accessory muscles in your stomach start to take over, and those don't work anymore, and you start turning blue and cold, almost purple-like, that's when they have to. So if they're not going by your ABGs and they just saying, oh, we want them on the vent, no, that's not medically standard. So it's some of your body, you have to be acidotic. You can't perform the breathing on your own. Your lungs have been deflated, they've been capitated, and you can't perform on your own.
I think Krista Krista, did you want to say something? Was you raising your hand?
Unmute Krista.
Hold on, where my girl at?
Krista got a beautiful smile.
I got it.
There you go, girl. You can say something.
You were talking about, you was asking when a person gets to that point, and sometimes I've seen them put people on the ventilators just as to make them rest. They medically sedate them and put them on ventilators because of all the other comorbidities they may have going on and all the stress that their body's been through. For instance, a person was in a very bad car wreck. They got a lot of internal bleeding and swelling. They got some respiratory issues too, but sometimes they'll medically sedate them, put them on a ventilator to keep all that under control while they adjust or address other issues. But, like she said, a lot of stuff is not medically necessary. A lot of it is tied into money and funding, because every shot, every pill, every prescription, trust me, the doctors get a kickback. Even for giving samples out in an office, there's always a catch to something. Nobody's going to come in your office and leave you drugs to give away and you know, you not get something for it. Every time he writes a prescription for that drug, or they give that sample enough for like 5 days, and that patient's like, I like this, can you write me a prescription? When you write that prescription,
Like a drug dealer.
you know, he
Give you
gets
a sample.
kickback. It's like legal drug dealing.
Right.
And just back to the COVID thing, it's just it's really sad. I'm just kind of torn because I've personally had family members who had COVID and was hospitalized, couldn't have visitors, and sometimes that's all you need is just somebody there with you.
That you know.
These people are not used to answering questions, and they're used to somebody, especially in our community, used to somebody, hey, I need you to listen, so because you know what they're talking about, I don't, and help me
Right.
make these decisions and things like that. And then, like, we're telling people, you know, if you have to come to our office, come by yourself, don't bring anybody. And, you know, I hate that too, because one, we're trying to cut down on the amount of people in the waiting room because we can only have so many people so many feet apart. School's out, you don't have babysitters, so we got, you know, it's just horrible for everybody. And then you got people who are sick and need to be seen to get their prescriptions, because it's a rule in some places, if you haven't been seen by a provider in a year, you can't get your prescriptions. So a lot they're pushing this teledoc or telehealth.
Right.
Well, it's only so much we can do for you over the phone. Sometimes we need to lay hands and lay eyes on you. So even that, you know, it's just a way for offices to still make money, to still have revenue so they can stay open and not have to shut down. But, you know, is it really good doctoring? Because now the insurance is going to bill this patient for a 10-minute conversation on the phone when that doctor is documenting, or he was on the phone at least 20 minutes or so, when the nurse is doing everything. He's just getting on there and saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So I think a lot of people are taking advantage of this COVID situation, especially in the medical community, with billing and coding. And I don't think that people are taking it real serious. A lot of people are not doing what they need to do with the mask and the hand washing and the gloves. And it just baffles me how, you know, I can go to a store and people just walking around like they don't care. But you don't know what kind of issues I may have, how my immune may be depressed. Yeah, I look healthy, but you have no idea what I have to take and what's going on with me. So why chance that? Why put other people at risk?
And we do have nurses and CNAs and, you know, sanitation and the medical work, whoever that are in our medical facilities, they're people. So we have them with compromised immune systems. They are recovering from cancer. You know, like there are a number of things that people working in the hospitals themselves are dealing with, not just even your everyday neighbor. So I think, you know, we need to be thinking about all of this when we're looking at how to get out and protect each other.
But that's why we say stay your ass at the house. Like, just stay at the house.
Stay home.
Stay home. Stay home.
Anybody got any other things before we go?
I couldn't read that comment. It went away too fast. Somebody said something about Maryland.
In Maryland, you can't go nowhere. You know, you got to have your stuff on. You can't get in.
And a lot of these states, they're not playing no games with you. Especially places where they don't have
Walmart.
that spacing and stuff like we do. Yeah.
Walmart is not playing with that ass, baby. They are not playing with that ass.
And they should.
Well, look, y'all, thank y'all for joining us for this first live version. Hopefully next week we can do it on Facebook so y'all can actually participate a little bit more. But if you haven't listened to our podcast,
I like this way.
Now he didn't want to do it.
Didn't want to do it. Oh, the bitch got his hair cut. He got his hair fixed, and that. Also, Andre's in Jersey. He said,
"Right boy said it's the same way in Jersey. Yeah, those bigger cities are not playing the radio with you." And I
really watching everywhere. I'm so proud of y'all.
I really think that for us in Alabama, we have this false sense of security because it hasn't hit us like it has hit some other places. And we were saying earlier,
it's hit us. They just ain't tested it.
I believe in the next few weeks, we're going to see some changes down south. And we'll see how it goes. You know, my advice to everybody is just do the basic stuff. You know, just protect yourself. When you have to go outside of your house, try to keep your hands away from your face. You know, just do the things that, you know, you think about putting up your phone to your face. Don't do that. Talk on your speaker, put your earbuds in, put your AirPods in. You know, clean your steering wheel down when you get in your car. You handle things that you touch. Clean your surfaces, your doorknobs. Everybody touching the bathroom door, clean it. The refrigerator handle, everybody touching that stuff that you don't necessarily think about. the sink knobs in the bathroom, in the kitchen, you know, the stuff that everybody in your household is going to touch. Make sure you disinfect those things, you know, just basic stuff. And I think for the most part, you'll probably be okay. And don't go to these goddamn house parties that these people gonna try to have for y'all this weekend once they get their hair done, because they can't come until they get their hair done and their nails done. Now they're gonna be able to get their hair and nails done. They're gonna want to have a gathering. Don't go. Tell them to Skype your ass, FaceTime. Don't do it.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Ty said it's the same thing in Illinois. So I mean, everybody doing what they're supposed to do, but the South. Go figure, because we always gonna fuck shit up.
Yeah, last.
That's just who we are.
We're always the last ones to jump on board with everything.
Yeah, always.
But y'all look out for you. Y'all watch out for your mental health yourself too. If you get tired of, you know, tap out. Don't watch the news. Go outside. You know, do something that you enjoy doing too, because it will emotionally take a bearing on you. I'm a person who it takes a lot to really get me to that point, but I've gotten to the point where I'm like, yo, you know, I just have to cut off the news sometimes and get off social media for a minute. Because of all the false advertisement and everybody posting stuff, and the news changes from 8 a.m. to 5 o'clock in the evening, something different, and every press conference is something else. So sometimes I have to just desensitize myself from all of that, because I want to keep smiling.
That's a great, and you got a beautiful smile, Crystal. That's great advice.
Cuss bitches out. Sometimes you have to cuss bitches out.
Do that too, if it makes you feel better.
Where's my coin at? Where's my coin?
I got you, baby. Where you at?
At home.
Well, I'm leaving this community service event, but I had to jump on here and talk to my people.
Thank you for joining us. Thank y'all, everybody. I can't see everybody, but thank you.
You got to slide your screen.
Oh,
he's just in love with Quan. He's such a fan. But look, check us out at Fancraft Different Day on Facebook. We on Stitcher, iTunes, you name it. There's a podcast with there. This is a long show. Hopefully I won't have to do too much editing. But again, thank y'all for participating. Thank y'all for just supporting us.
That's why I like this, so you can edit.
Yeah, and don't forget about user questions, user letters. We haven't stopped doing that, so send it if you want us to talk about something.
If you love life in the toilet, we'll tell you what you need to do.
If you can handle it now, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. Derek's gonna be nice.
I'm gonna be nice.
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
So you sugarcoat it.
I hear you, Bobby.
I just make it nice. All right, wash y'all asses
and hands.